these guys go in that same conversation. They have to. They deserve the respect, right? Just because of what they have done in the last kind of, again, year and a half, 2 years in Valorant, right? On an international stage, they've always continued to impress. And I think for me, when you're looking at the side of someone who can really make a difference, Chihuahua is another one who I always want to look towards, because I think he is, in terms of a supporting lurk player, I think he's probably the best in the league. I don't really think there's anyone better. With XL, he was single-handedly one of the most important reasons why they found a lot of success, just because he was able to always gather so much information. That lurking Cypher was just such a scary prospect. And teams, it got to a point where he would essentially double bluff teams because they spent so long focusing on him and waiting for Chihuahua to lurk in behind them and get all the information that they wouldn't really focus on their own game style. So he has it's sort of this double-edged sword against the enemies, which is it's so good to see.
Yeah, we've been in and out of kind of Sentinel-based metas here in Valorant, but we're coming back into that kind of Cypher-based meta now. Obviously, it's soon enough, Split is going to be part of that map pool again, which is another one where Cypher is incredibly strong. And this is the kind of playing ground that Chihuahua is really going to be happy with, because as Cypher gets stronger, and as the maps favor him a lot more, he's going to be making more and more inroads into this side. And, you know, for the last, season, we were in kind of a bit more of a Killjoy meta, less of a Cypher meta, and he was still fragging out then. So I don't know, he's going to get on another level.
No, exactly that. Well, we picked two players that we wanted to sort of have a little comparison here of a head-to-head just before we get underway and towards our first game, and we went for BONK versus Lewis. And I think it's pretty clear to see why we've gone for these two guys. They are essentially kind of a lead from the front type narrative here.
Yeah, absolutely. Not just the Sovas, but also the IGLs of their team. I think you can see that in the way that they do this. I went with average assists as one of the stats to go for here, not just because they're initiators, but also because I think it shows a bit of their playstyle a little more. BONK is very much a supporting player. You can tell he's very, very, he thinks a lot about what's going on. He gets involved in every round. Maybe he's not quite as dynamic in terms of aim. He lets his teammates do that for him. Why not? You've got Kicks, you've got Jusu on your team. That's absolutely fine. Your boy Lewis, however, he's much more dynamic himself. He may not get involved in terms of utility every single round, but he thinks about everything, and he really, he's got that. An IGL that can frag out as well is incredibly powerful. Yeah,
and we're now getting to a point, right, as well, where I think a lot of people finally, thankfully, are getting to this kind of understanding that, it's no longer an argument saying, oh, he's not fragging well, but it's okay, he's an IGL. It's no longer a case. It never should be an argument anymore, because, nowadays, everybody needs to step up, and thankfully these guys do exactly that. They step up, they lead from the front, which is kind of the reason why we wanted to pick them, just because of their ability to individually make a difference, not only in terms of their calls and the strats and the executes they're able to pull off and kind of lead around the team, but also on a more mechanical side too. These guys can make a difference in the server when they're called upon. They can step up in a clutch, they can step up to deny and execute coming on towards the site, so they're reliable. That's why we like to kind of bring them up to kind of just the forefront of our minds. It's very easy to constantly just look at duelists, right? Look at the likes of a Yugi's and just say, pan through his stats because we know they're going to be phenomenal. But, obviously for these guys, their ability to step up in a fragging department as well as leading this team is why we consider FOKUS, BONK as, potential top 3 teams overall in Polaris.
Yeah, so let's think a little bit about map vetoes, though, because obviously when we're thinking about IGLing, we're thinking about the initiator players. You've really got to think about, before you even get into the server, before you even pick your agents, before you get involved. I mean, they're both going to pick Sova, that's just the way they work. But, is how are we going to play against this team? Because these are, two very kind of separate teams. Once again, I know BONK kind of do like that Ascent, but that's a Sova map. That makes absolute sense. In fact, BONK, Ascent is BONK at this point, because it is Sova and KO.
Yes,
that's just it, and that's Kicks and BONK just to a T. So that's always going to be, I feel like, their first pick whatsoever. FOKUS, they seem to have liked a bit of Pearl.
Yeah, okay. All right. A bit of Pearl could be quite interesting, actually. We saw Pearl yesterday, and that one was very spicy. I mean, enough deliberation. Why don't we just go and check out and see what the actual veto is? We do have a little graphic that can pop up and show us where we are going to kickstart things, and it is going to be Haven to open things up. Breeze are coming through, and I can't lie, I was actually going to throw a Breeze out there, but I thought we'd take a look anyway, and Ascent will be our decider. So you may not believe me, but Breeze is actually going to be my prediction, as at least one of the 3 maps coming through, and around that will be Haven in a sense. So maybe slightly milk toasty in terms of the first and the third map, but I do like that Breeze coming through from FOKUS. Bit of a confident pick coming in there, so I'm interested to see how that one pans out and how they like to play, how your boy Lewis essentially sets up this side, right? Looking over towards Breeze. How are they going to try and find well, some victory in their favor. Haven to open things up. Of course, if we need it, Ascent. Twiggy, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, look, they couldn't have made me look more like an idiot in terms of these vetoes. I'm not going to lie to you. FOKUS banned out Pearl after I said that they seemed to like it. And even BONK didn't pick Ascent. Okay, it's fine. Whatever. That's okay, guys. You do your own thing. But the thing is, Sova KO works on any map, pretty much, I would say. There aren't many maps where a double initiator isn't a good idea, so that's always going to be fine. But yeah, no, I'm interested in this one. I think no matter what, these two teams are going to come up against each other really evenly. They're two very different playstyles in terms of teams. Obviously, you know, I would say definitely BONK is the more dynamic team. They're the more kind of aggressive team. But in the same breath, FOKUS is definitely, you know, a much more kind of... but they still keep up with them. Not maybe in terms of tempo, but they control the game to their tempo a lot better.
No, exactly. I think either way you put it, I think, you know, you went for BONK, I went for FOKUS, you know, as the overall victor here. But I think we can both agree that this seems like it's setting itself up for a 3-mapper. I think whichever way it goes, I'd be extremely surprised if we don't go the distance. And each and every map as well, I'd be extremely surprised if they're, you know, one-sided. These two sides, they're elite level players in Tier 2, especially not even just for Northern Europe, but just for Europe as a whole, right? So I think for me, I'd be extremely surprised not to see us head to Ascent and you know, decide things there in what could be quite the puggy affair as well, because both of these two sides, while at times we like to talk about them being so strat heavy and very deep, they're able to kind of dive into that strat book, they can also more than happily, you know, drop down a level and just play that puggy playstyle. So for me, I'd be extremely surprised. But as you went for BONK, I've gone for FOKUS. I think it basically means whoever wins this is eternally the better caster, and it's just as simple as that, basically.
All right, then. I did say yesterday that I wasn't getting a single prediction wrong after you know, now I've seen each team play two, you know, that's just not going to happen. So, unfortunately, I've already made your bed, and now you're going to have to lie in that. So that's just, that's how that works. All right. You're going to have to take the L on this one. I'm very sorry.
Okay.
But, you know, it's fine, because it's going to be close at the very least, and you can go, oh, but, you know, if there was only a couple more rounds, then FOKUS would have won, and then I would have been right, so don't worry about it. That's fine. You have deniability, win. And that's all that matters. I'm gonna be a heathen if FOKUS win. I'm gonna be insatiable. It's gonna be brilliant. I'm just gonna be loving life. It's getting clipped on Twitter. It's going everywhere. It's not gonna happen. Well, I mean, he did say that, you know, he's not getting a single one wrong. So if you ever want to know who's gonna win a game and you don't have time to watch or, you know, tune in, just check Twiggy's predictions. It's spot on. You never. Another way I know I'm right as well.
Go on.
Is because Kremer picked BONK as well. And we saw what happened yesterday.
If you got one wrong.
Only person to pick HS Deer.
You also got one wrong.
He may have got one wrong, but you know what? He surprised everyone as well. Hookahs, yeah, no, they might not have won the series, but for a second there, you were thinking, for a second there on Pearl, you were thinking, maybe Hookahs win this. Yeah, maybe they do take it to map 3, and maybe they do take it all the way.
Yeah, I love Kremer.
You can't tell me, without a doubt in your mind that you thought that Apex had it straight away there.
I love Kremer. We started our careers together, but my rule of thumb here is wherever Kremer goes, go the opposite way. Either way, we can take a look in towards the agents and slightly different compositions coming through. Lion going in towards the Killjoy. I like to see that coming through. Both sides going for a breach. Interesting. A Jet over towards Jusu. So not surprising for him, but maybe in terms of the map and the composition. So I don't know. I quite like it. I do gotta say that Purpo fade, I'm a big fan of that.
I think people are listening into what I'm saying and just doing the exact opposite. Kix isn't playing KO. He's playing Breach now. Sure, that's fine. You know what, guys? I'm gonna say that BONK. Yeah, no. You know what? I said BONK are gonna win. Now you have to do the opposite. So unlucky, BONK. I'll take the L on this one, and you guys are just gonna. If you're gonna be contrary this whole time and you're gonna try and make me look like an idiot, then that's on you. You're gonna have to lose the series. So hey, look, either you come onto my side, or you're losing. So there you are. That's just how it works. But yeah, no, these are really interesting and look, I think Ascent is, Haven is one of those maps where you can do a lot of different things. So obviously Breach is going to be a big one here on Haven, but I think KO would have worked as well. You know, you could have done that. No, you could have. Yeah, Breach is the Haven initiate, but you could have. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
If you really wanted to.
Yeah, the thing is, with KO and his util set, right, it's so viable across basically any map, any scenario. It's a bit standard in a way, but that's also kind of what makes it strong. Purpo just needs to be careful. He's being pressured just a little bit, but he'll find the first before he falls. Juzu quick on the trade, and they cracked open the A site.
That's a pretty nice and dynamic way to get in from BONK. And get the spike down, all going up sewers there and just running straight into this team. It was a nice little haunt there. I like the I like a lineup where you're walking backwards. That's very cool, using the momentum cancellation to get it to the right place. Get it on top of that wall. Sees a lot of different angles, just to make sure that nobody's coming in from long as well. Here we go, Yugi pushes his way on in. Trying to emulate the playstyle, I feel like, of Jusu here, but Jusu is not on the jet this time. Playing on that raise. Lime, though, hitting shots left, right, and center. Can Chihuahua clutch this one out on the pistol round? An important one, but that is a good double peek there from Lime and your boy Lewis. They'll be able to close this one out. And again, FOKUS controlling tempo.
Yes.
This is their playstyle.
No, exactly. I think it's something you brought up earlier, right? In terms of kind of how Yugi differs from other jets, but it's also kind of how FOKUS differ from other teams. They're more than happy to sit back. And, you know, in that scenario as well, Purpo is trying to fall away so they can play a 5-on-5 retake. That's how they want to play things. They don't really care about, you know, giving up the site or giving up the spike plant. As long as they have control over how it's going to, you know, pan out after that, that's where we look towards this side being really, really strong. And, hey, Lime, great round. I got to say as well, you know, I already sort of mentioned it at the VRL Berlin finals. Lime was someone that I consistently mentioned. And Angry Titans, no offense to them, they sucked at VRL Berlin. I don't think they got into a win at all. I think they went completely winless. It was a rough showing, same as XL.
Careful what you say. You might get a strongly worded DM.
Oh yeah, no, exactly that. I'll put my name out there. But I gotta say, Lime individually was fantastic. I even, you know, I said it publicly, DM'd him as well. He really, really impressed me. So someone who can step. Oh, Jusu, what is that? With a stinger.
You're kidding.
And damn, that does bite. Lime will find one on the tray, but Juicy, what a start. That's cracked open the site once again. And the spike goes down.
Oh, that's beautiful. There it is, Juicy. That's just... It's the two agents that just lend themselves so well to, you know, Twitch FPS players that are, you know, have just got out of high school and just... just go in. Go for it, you know? As long as you can put your crosshair in the right place, why does it matter how quickly you're playing?
Exactly.
Just click heads. That's exactly what Juicy's doing here, and FOKUS do now have control of the site. It's a good opening pick, and it takes away some economy here from FOKUS, that pick on BONK. Lime is going off here in these first couple rounds. Maybe he does have the advantage in terms of weaponry, but still, going to be padding those stats perfectly here. Kix manages to get one more. That's about it. And, you know, they were pretty close to holding that one off for a while, but in the end, it doesn't really come to much more than a little bit of economical damage.
No, exactly that. Great start. I mean, you love to see this, right? This is just the start of Juicy doing, you know, crazy plays like this. I'm excited. I think we might be in for a little bit of a banger. Now we see a bit of a response coming through. Over towards BONK, it's going to be a quad stinger setup. So, a little bit of a difference coming through here is one way to put it. And we're going to see Chihuahua just opt for the Sheriff. What are your thoughts on the quad stinger?
I mean, that's what happens when you force buy second round.
It's very true. I maybe would have gone for a lower buy, like a Sheriff's here, right? I think we've seen them be viable as a stinger. I'm not a huge fan, to be perfectly honest, but, I mean, against a slightly mixed buy, I think it's definitely still a possibility. Paranoia will come through, just to keep them at bay. Recon Dart as well will actually catch out KPs there. They're being pressured here.
Yeah, may have to fall back straight into Cider, who's waiting for them. BONK gets in as well. They've taken site for free off the back of 4 stingers. Yugi, he's caught in the aftershock. He manages to get one, but now there's a Vandal on the ground. Somebody go pick it up, please. I'm gonna be anxious until somebody from BONK manages to pick up. Did they not realize that he got a Vandal? No, okay, it's all good. They like stingers more. That's fine. Cider watching this angle with a bulldog, however. Lewis is gonna be the first to engage, but right now, FOKUS are not in a great place. And that fault line does not hit anybody. Cider is just waiting for him around the corner. Purpo's going to have to bring out some real heroics here with the... No, it's just not. It's not happening.
Hey.
Wow, okay then, BONK.
Good round.
And you know what? I did like, however... You know what? Okay, I saw from KPZ a nice new little one-way. So obviously everybody's had to kind of slightly redo their one-ways because it kind of can't be inside a wall. I was looking at Thinking Man's Valorant there's a co-stream the other day, and he corrected me on that one quite heftily in that it doesn't matter. Sorry, I didn't know. It doesn't. The changes to women really don't do anything.
Oh, well, there we go. There we go.
So sorry, TMV, my bad.
I gotta say though, this already feels like a battle of the playstyles and really kind of a direct look into the IGLs as well, right? Because you're looking at these two setups and they're vastly different. FOKUS is so happy to play super passive in their playstyle, right? Allow control over towards BONK. Kind of more than happily give them all of this early map control, no real aggression coming through, and then just relying on the individual to step up in a retake. But for BONK, their abilities that we're seeing so far is just all of them being hyper aggressive, getting a lot of control coming through, and very, very early doors taking engagement. So it's a completely different playstyle coming in. So far, I've got to say, BONK looked slightly scarier.
Indeed. Well, that is what I expect to see out of BONK. Obviously, we have no idea how long that's going to last, since we know that they definitely have the potential to lose on winning positions. But hey, that's fine. Things happen. FOKUS playing this one real slow. They just want to take their sweet time on this. Kicks gets the first pick onto the duelist from FOKUS. The rest of the team is going to come out together. 3 players all in one area. And Lime is going to try to at least open things up. Chihuahua really just isn't missing shots, though. It's an easy couple of kills with the Phantom there. But, hey, that'll do it. There's one with the Sheriff. Now Lewis is on site, but yeah. Wow, I didn't expect it to be BONK getting that kill, but either way.
Hey, we'll take, some consolations, but they are only consolations. Now BONK up to a second, and I think you're starting to see that this BONK attacking side look relatively comfortable. I'm liking the aggression coming through. They're more than happy to take that early space, and off the back of it, really force FOKUS to kind of double guess how they're going to play things. Where we stand right now, the FOKUS maybe coming into this full buy, I would actually like to see them be a little bit, a tad more aggressive. Just get some information. Opening jewels are going to become so important. They're constantly being forced into retakes. The ability to kind of, find this clutch factor about them is going to be difficult. Sada will open things up. Yuki thought he could react. The answer's no.
That is one way to open up a round. Not missing those shots. And that's a really tough blow to FOKUS after they've just bought up. I mean, already just mentally losing to a double force from BONK 2 rounds into the game is pretty bad, and Chihuahua will just hit a little spray transfer with the Phantom. Give them the site for free. KPZ not missing that shot, but it's still a 2v4. It's still not a great situation to be in for the team. And although Lime has been putting up numbers so far this game, can they take this one back?
It's a tough retake. Seriously tough. Even to a point now as well, as time starts to tick, you maybe even start making the decision, do we go for a save? Do we try and keep hold of what we've got? First spotted. I love KPZ as well. Smoke will come through, but Lime will he be able to clear? Yes, he will.
Okay.
It's starting to crumble. Lockdown will come into play, but how can he make it work? Showstopper put to bed as well. It's all down to side on a 1 versus 1. Lime, can he clutch it up for yet another time? As time ticks into its second phase, he tries to find on a TP. Spots the arm. Time dwindling. Cider will spot it out. What a round for Cider. Small margins, fine margins, but it's BONK up to a third.
How do you get away with getting the lockdown and TP away there? That is unbelievable. I just...
no, exactly.
I don't know. I don't know how. That... yeah, I'm speechless on that one. It's such a bold choice there for both of those ults. Putting the lockdown down there, yeah, great. It puts pressure on the players. It's so easy to destroy, though, if they manage to get that first kill. Luckily, FOKUS were the ones to get that first one. And then the showstopper comes out from Jusu, which is, yeah, great response to the lockdown. But I think Jusu thought that the lockdown was still in heaven or something.
Yeah.
Because popping that close range, he was never getting over the box and getting to that lockdown that quickly. So that is just wild from Jusu in terms of that. And obviously, Lime capitalizes off it perfectly. But Cider being able to teleport all the way back into sewers there and still get the kill. That is unbelievable. And that is just... the mental fortitude from Cider to make a choice like that and pull it off is brilliant. And FOKUS, definitely, they need a timeout after that.
Yeah, I think it's actually a really good call here by FOKUS because, mentally, that's quite a tough round to lose. It was so close. Line stepped up, but I think, once again, it goes back to what I was saying about for FOKUS. For them, they're lack of initiative to take these early fights and take some early space is coming back to bite them because they're constantly playing retakes. And it's never comfortable when you're constantly playing this sort of retake style of play. It always makes things, so uncomfortable. So that's where I really get slightly concerned. Polaristw has been popped by Yugi as he goes aggro, and this is it, taking initiative in towards mid.
Oh, that's a nice Hunter's Fury along with the fault line there, but it does not really come of anything. BONK doesn't manage to find really any info, any kills. Yugi, he'll pick up the first with the Blade Storm up towards mid and get out of there for free. Only 2 blades left on that, but still, getting a kill there, especially on an eco round, is really, really important. As long as he stays alive with those knives, there's always the chance that he replenishes them and gets a couple more kills, because those Blade Storms can go up against any rifle pretty easily. BONK refocus their attack. They just wanted to make sure right there that Yugi had completely disengaged. That is what they've seen. But now they're going to head back towards C, where they committed all that utility early round, pushed away the players, didn't capitalize off of the disposition that they had because they didn't know. There was no info on any of that, but they do get it for free at the very least because FOKUS have a little bit over-rotated here, which is understandable on an eco round.
Yeah, I mean, actually, this is a great call by BONK. I've got to say, he sells a bit of a ruse in towards mid, sort of baits the utility in first of all, and he knows that FOKUS are going to be slightly lacking in that neutral department. This is a really good position, and they're setting up in such an aggro post plan too. All in all, everything looking super clean here, and it should be more of the same as well. Chihuahua will find KPZ. Yugi can step up, and again, no way, not one of these rounds. Yugi, we've called upon him time and time again, and FOKUS rely on his ability to step up. And he's made it doable.
What did I say? That Blade Storm. Oh, but the Rolling Thunder is perfect to just push him away and keep him from doing anything. Chihuahua hits a collateral onto Lyman Boy Lewis. Now it has to be an ace from Yugi to close this one up. He misses the right click by a hair. Oh, Kicks manages to get that kill. But he had to commit that Rolling Thunder, which is a great bit of investment for FOKUS on an eco round.
They'll take it. They'll happily walk away with kind of, 2-3 kills, any sort of those quote-unquote eco rounds where you're not bringing too much to the table. So you're walking away with a couple of kills and just making sure that BONK's economy never gets fully out of check. You're happy with that. You got no real problems at all. Now a full investment coming through once again. Last time with the Operator, we didn't really see Yugi. Well, we weren't able to see him really step up in a way we would have hoped. This time we need to see a little bit more impact from him. Overall,
oh my
BONK.
no!
Oh my god! Look at that usual setup.
Beautiful. Oh, that's so beautiful. Chihuahua taken out in a moment's notice there. The C's plus the aftershock there is absolutely perfect. That is a classic little setup. I mean, you see it all the time with... it used to be Astro and Raze was really the only people you could do it with back before Fade was added. That's absolutely awesome. You don't see a lot of C's lineups work nowadays, but that is always beautiful to see. BONK heading up the charge once again, and his team is now at a significant disadvantage, especially on an attacking round, especially when Yugi has that op in hand.
Jiggling, just looking for some information. Will spot out Salmon, thankfully. Purpo just going to fall away. For now, slow tempo, or so I say. A lot of information getting towards long. It's going to get messy, but Juicy will open things up. Your boy Lewis quick on the trade.
KPZ manages to get rid of that from the shadows and just make sure that there's no surprises coming in towards site here, but Kicks has opened things up just a little bit. KPZ gets one more, but he's traded out by side and making it a 2v2 now, and Yugi has to try and retake this one along with Lion, but with an Operator in hand. Kicks finds the first shot. Yugi can take one down, but Kicks is there just about with the trade round the corner. It was always going to be pretty simple, but, you can never count Yugi out there.
Hey, credit again, though. I mean, I think for Kicks, it was something you highlighted, right? Coming in towards this game, saying he's always a player who you have to just keep an eye on, as someone who can actually, really make a difference towards the game. And we've so far seen bits of it. We've seen sort of that magic coming through. I like the post-ball position he's set up. He's trying to engage in those early fights. This util setup was phenomenal as well. I mean, everything kind of playing out in a sort of perfect fashion, so to say. But Kicks really stepped up when it was called upon him. That's a tough kill on towards Yugi as well, because usually he's sort of expecting that swing off the the back of that first pop shot. Now down to just a low buy.
He's in trouble. He's got a Guardian. That's not going to be a great weapon up against Chihuahua running at him with a Phantom. Unfortunate. Your boy Lewis spraying through the wall to try and just find some tags, but no shots land whatsoever. Fault line in towards site gives them Just a little bit of time, but they sold the fake almost, I think, here. It is just Lime that is still not on A, and may head back towards C, which is a very good choice. His util being on B. C is the only one he needs to cover at this point, and FOKUS are just going to make sure that BONK aren't cutting noise and staying A. They'll figure that one out pretty quickly. Now Lime has to keep them at bay. Not for long whatsoever. They can get the spike down, and now in a 5v3, that's going to be pretty difficult.
Spike planted.
Well, what do they do here? I think probably the save call would actually be the best, or maybe even playing exits. I don't think that's too bad, just because, yes, they got money to work with in towards the next, but I would just kind of feel for now that FOKUS, their economy has never really been comfortable. It's always looked pretty brutal, maybe one way to put it. What do they do here? Your boy Lewis taking initiative, taking that first step coming through. Got to be expected as well. Ticking forward, finds the first and the second as well. But the trades make it all the more expensive, and Yugi, his job should be over here.
Yeah, it seems like so far FOKUS have done damage every round. They've done economical damage no matter what, but BONK and his team, as long as they just keep winning rounds, they're going to keep very slowly building up that economy, and it looks like they've got quite a lot in the bank now.
Take a little breather before we head in towards the next. Not a bad round in terms of making it expensive on the way out, but I think most importantly, is just BONK are starting to extend quite the wealth of a lead. We're getting to a point already where we're saying for BONK, this has been, you know, already a very decent attacking side. They already get to 6. They guarantee that they'll at the very least be tied up heading in towards the next. And some of the big stars over towards FOKUS maybe not having as much impact as you would hope. You know, the likes of Yugi's of the world, while a fantastic player, it hasn't been as comfortable for him. Not about start for KPZ though. Kicks will fall.
Well, BONK once again losing a player. That did not slow them down last time, however. Oh, and Jusu just reads it. Knows that KPZ is just going to be right around that corner. Knew that that dark cover came out a little too quick. There's definitely an omen very close here, so they managed to get that one. Lewis there with the trade, but Cider takes that one straight back, and it's a 3v3 once again. The retake for FOKUS. Oh no, never mind. They back out of it. I thought they were just going to plant that spike and go for it, but they're just going to back out of C. They managed to get the kill on the way out too. They're going back towards C. Chihuahua has made space in double doors and making sure that mid's clear. They're going for it again. BONK with the interesting strat here.
This is
cutting noise again.
Yeah, it's quiet. You can see they're nervous, right? They're trying to check for everything.
Well, you don't want to walk into Yugi, who's got an operator out. They listen for him to turn back around and take him down. That is so perfectly played there from BONK. That is how you cut noise. They can get that spike down. And unless Perp has a very, very good plan in mind, he's going to find it very difficult to retake this one now. Post-plant positions out from BONK. Retaking on C, not an easy one whatsoever. He still has his haunt, he still has a seize. Could come in very handy in keeping people here. He's just going to try and clear corners manually. The old-fashioned way. Finds the first kill. Oh, almost takes down Cider. He's got nerves of steel. Makes it 7-2.
This is getting quite messy now for FOKUS. We're getting to a point where we have to start looking towards this side and thinking, how are they able to turn this back in its favor? Of course, yes, this is BONK's pick, and we all know that, but it's not been great from FOKUS on a map in which we expect to see them have this ability to step up. Nice bit of time there from KPZ, but honestly, all in all, for BONK, they have just been the better side, outplaying, outcalling, and outfragging. And like, once again, as I mentioned, for Yugi, he's just not having as much impact as we would have hoped from him. He's still getting a couple of kills here and there, but he's a player who we've got a difference maker. And so far, it's just not been as easy for him to be as dominant as he would like. And Juicy will open things up. What a shot.
Oh, man. Juicy was warming up into this one. I mean, he was warm from the start, but FOKUS had control of it for the first 2 rounds. Oh, that's a beautiful shot from Yugi. Can he retake this one? He's going to be the, you know, the difference maker in terms of keeping momentum and getting it going back in his team's favor. He picks up a Phantom. He does not manage to even fire off a shot before Cider takes his head off around the corner. A second one onto Lime as well. Means that once again they can push in, but it looks, once again, they're cutting noise. They don't want to lose utility. They don't want to give away weaponry. They don't want to give away a chance that FOKUS can win this round. It's clinical from BONK to just try and make sure the FOKUS don't get any kind of, you know... look, if you leave the door open ajar slightly, they could burst in, you know? FBI open up kind of deal. Don't give them the chance. It's a good idea from BONK. Now, maybe this could be a misplay. Maybe they just don't get in. They've left it too late. Oh my! I shouldn't have said that whatsoever. That was a little close.
Oh my god, that got extremely close.
No, maybe it's a misplay. Maybe they don't get the spike planted in time because they take too many picks off. Maybe FOKUS gets some shots off. And
Jesus. That got extremely close.
I felt very smart for a second there.
Yeah, that got very, very close. I mean, credit, once again, we can say this, you know, time and time again, that they're making it expensive, but it's already getting to the point now where we're saying, you know, who cares,
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it actually doesn't really matter at all. I mean, looking over towards BONK, they've already just got enough of a stable economy built up where they're completely chilling, right? I mean, there's a 6-round gap. FOKUS in a brutal position. Showstopper popped as well. What's Juicy gonna do with it?
Juicy?
Looking for something. Oh my gosh, he keeps going.
Oh, he does a lot of damage to Yugi there. One of those traces definitely hit Yugi. Takes a hell of a lot. Juicy does as well. He backs up. Chihuahua looking for double doors control, but Perp, so far he hasn't had an amazing game, but when it matters, he can hold a corner at the very least. BONK already with a 6-round lead. That is, I don't know. It hasn't felt like that. FOKUS have been doing damage every single round. It's just not come their way. Jusu finds the first pick, pushing up through double doors into their own spawn. There's so many ults on the side of FOKUS. Now is the time to use them, if ever. A retake on C is so much more difficult if you cannot lock them down. You can use that lockdown, push them all the way into C long. You can use that ult and try and get in on a flank. Yugi has the Blade Storm. Something needs to come of this one. You need to slow down this momentum from BONK, and the lockdown is used. They are going to try and retake this one, and they are going to commit a little bit of utility into trying to take them and push them back all the way. You can see BONK have already moved all the way back into their own spawn into mid. Here comes the Hunter's Fury to deny the first part of the defuse, but the half is stuck. They're going to have to run this one down. That's great. I was gonna, that almost, the timing on that was so close, but that is good from FOKUS, just to commit utility and take casualties just to get a round in their favor. You can slow down BONK, you can stop them. They won 8 rounds in a row. You need to stop them.
No, exactly. We're at a point now where we're already seeing for FOKUS, they've just got to try new things. They've got to just try and be a little bit more, I guess, flexible, not as rigid as they usually are. I mean, this style of play is really good, and it has the ability to take down some seriously good teams who are also extremely well structured. But for BONK, in a weird way, they kind of their best thing is their ability to be super moldable and kind of gel with any situation and make decisions on the fly. But nice shot, Yugi will open things up. You'll be calling upon him time and time again, but the spike will still go down over towards B.
Spike planted.
Indeed, can TP out of there. It's a positive to getting your Omen to plant the spike. Not only are you closer to getting that from the shadows, but you can just teleport away from that, no problem whatsoever, especially up against a Fade, which completely, you know, can lock down a Jed or a Raze, who can usually get out of positions easily. You know, that Seize is not going to let your duelist get out of there, so Omen is one of the very few characters that can get out of a Seize. Yugi takes down Chihuahua, but FOKUS, they still need to get this retake going. Perp finds one more. Cider is there to take down Line, but now it is just Cider left. 1 versus 4 retake here, and Yugi is there waiting for him with the operator that so far he hasn't really put to good use, much more than a few picks here and there. FOKUS now, that 1 round that they committed a lot into seems to have shifted the momentum in their favor.
Well, if they can get a strong finish, I can at least be, you know, a little bit happy with it. And there we go, right? You know, get a little bit of confidence before going in towards the second half. But overall, what we do have to bring to the table here is just how dominant it's looked for the vast majority of this map 1 so far from BONK. It's been fantastic. Everything has sort of been falling into place for them. They've really set themselves up going in towards their defender side with a lot of confidence. And we know as well, like we've already mentioned, the difference in playstyles once again on defender side should benefit BONK here. They're much more aggressive, they take space, they take initiative, they take fight, and that's where you look towards this BONK side to be able to have a very good read into what FOKUS are setting up. We need a bit of a masterclass from FOKUS on attacking side if they're able to set themselves up comfortably. So I've got to say, I'm a little bit nervous.
Yeah. Yugi is going to have to, I feel like, Feel like pull a bit of a Jusu and actually just bring, you know, Bonk's own game to them. But Jusu seems to be the only Jusu on the server right now. He's got 2 kills in this round and he's set his team up for some victory here. But not if Lime can take that one down. Lewis in a 1v2. But his frenzy doesn't quite do the same thing as Bonkar's, and Bonk take a pistol round. And I mean, they didn't even need a pistol round last time to, well, they didn't win the bonus, but they won the bonus after the bonus, so they find a way somehow, and I think this only sets them up for even more success.
Gotta say, getting to a point now where maybe it might be too little too late. I mean, there's a 5-round gap built up. Realistically, should be 6 here, right? You get a much better buy coming through for Bong. Of course, economy is on their side, where it isn't for FOKUS. And you're looking over towards this FOKUS side and thinking as well, right, for them, it's about preservation, maybe of their mental state heading into their map pick in that second. But even still, it's a bit of a gruesome position that we currently find ourselves in. This is the pick of Bonk. We know that. But even still, before heading in towards our second pick of Breeze, you got to say that for FOKUS, you're hoping that they don't get too tilted or, you know, morally a bit destroyed.
Yeah. Bonk have done so well at controlling the pace of this game, making sure it's always in their favor, making sure the momentum is on their side. I'll keep using that word. I'm sorry, but it is the only way I can describe this one. Lewis manages to rush in with his team to double doors and take a kill their way. Bonker just going to start defusing this one. No problem whatsoever. They get half done and spree down the remaining members of the FOKUS side. Purpo makes a stinger work from incredibly long range, but Juicy can find his third. They can get the defuse. Not much of a problem. They saved the 2 Vandals that they bought, at the very least. It is still economical damage, but nothing that can't be overcome.
Exactly. Couple of consolations, couple of silver linings, but realistically, that's all it is. 6 rounds is now the deficit, and you already think of FOKUS. You're getting extremely worried. This is it's a do or die sort of situation in towards round number 15. This full buy has to be converted. If it isn't, then we get to a position where maybe we have to just already start looking towards Breeze and start thinking that for FOKUS, they're playing the long game here. They're playing for a decider because, I don't know, it's pretty grim. We are into a tech pause. Hopefully we're all right.
Wouldn't be Polaris without a tech pause.
I have heard that apparently some of the Val servers worldwide are down. So I'm hoping it has nothing to do with that and we're okay. You know, yeah, I'm hoping we're all good. There is apparently the Val servers worldwide are down. So if anyone's joining us because you're expecting to play ranked and you got nothing better to do here, come to watch Polaris. Hey, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Hey. We appreciate it. Bit of a banger game so far. For those who maybe aren't aware and joined, you know, because the servers are down, this is it's a bit of a heater. This is arguably the second versus the third best team in Polaris, so it's a kind of a lot on the line. Both of these 2 teams fighting for they're vying for the old playoff spot as well. So all in all, extremely spicy. You've kind of joined at a good time. You know, maybe the Val gods are on the broadcast side.
Servers are fixed. They turned them back on.
There we go.
All good. They press the button.
On and
That's
off.
all that you need to do. That's all that you need to do. Yeah. That's it. You know, they turn it off with a button and then they turn it back on with a button.
That's it.
It's you know, completely avoidable. Anyway, Yugi finds an opening pick, but Jusu just walks in and just makes sure he's not leaving. At the very least, he may have found that first pick, but he's not getting away with his life. Oh my God, Chihuahua. The luck. This guy always pulls out something to surprise the opposition. FOKUS, lose a player, he gets back into that dark cover. Not his team's dark cover. That's KPZ's dark cover that he used to his own advantage. Oh man, and FOKUS once again on the back foot. And this is Bonk's bonus round, and they bought up into it still, but still their bonus. KPZ manages to find one. Juicy gets over his head with the showstopper, takes that kill, but Lewis has already got involved. Lime finishes it off. FOKUS slow down Bonk for just a second.
Best lurker in tier 2, arguably, right? I mean, Chihuahua has consistently proved that. Dinner of XL, 2 seasons in a row, he was the champion. Of course, now, we're in a position where he gets to show it and flex it under a new roster with exactly the same level of efficiency, so to say. Good effort on Juicy, to be honest, to even get one with a showstopper. I kind of thought the fact that he already had satchel packed over, you're thinking, okay, maybe it's done, but decent reactions. I've got to give him the credit where the credit's due. It's still a long road to recovery. 5 to 10, 5-round deficits, and Bonk, they're already on the home straight on their map pick. 3 rounds is all they need, and you can make all the arguments you want about this being generally seen as a bit of an attack inside map. It's very easy to be spread thin on that defender side, but so far BONK seem to be coping relatively well. And the fact that even when BONK lose rounds, they can make it expensive is a really positive sign. It means with them, they have this ability to even be competitive when they're on the way out, which overall will always affect FOKUS in a more long-term view, because if they want to get back into this game, they have to look in a more kind of long-term 2020 vision sense where, you know, they've got to keep that economy in check. And if they can keep causing problems, keep making it expensive, that's where we start to feel okay. Yugi may not invest in towards this one because I think he's hoping to get an orb so he can get the Blade Storm online. And I think he probably should be okay to collect one. It's looking like they want to head over towards Long, but two players are vying up over towards BONK to take the space.
Alright, FOKUS now have a pretty tough task ahead of them. They've managed to get BONK, you know, back on the back foot, but they still need to keep up that pressure at this point. BONK has done a very good job of maintaining that pressure and just making sure that FOKUS don't get rounds on rounds in a row. And BONK are the ones that are managing to get, I mean, they got 8 rounds in a row in that first half. FOKUS are yet to pull out anything of the same caliber. But if they can get this one, that's 2 in a row, and they start to make their way back towards recovery. But you just cannot let yourself win a round, and then you're out of utility, and then you're out of economy, and then you have to do it all over again and build your way up to another round win, because BONK, they only have 3 to go. At this point, you're backed up against the wall. You need to make these ones work, and if you take any economical damage over the course of these rounds, you're on the back foot once again.
No, you do start to get extremely concerned at side waiting for information to work with. Is he going to swing off contact? There's the paranoia. Great timing. Surely a couple of kills here. They'll tuck their head though.
BONK manages to find one. Oh, there it is, the stinger and Cider. He's just completely around the corner. Lewis is so preoccupied with main that he's not checking around his corner. There are too many people shooting at him from other angles. He's not even thinking about who's around that corner. Cider has not fired a shot yet, and he manages to get that kill. It's just Lime left, 1 versus 4. BONK has picked up a rifle now. There's really no way for a Killjoy to win this one. Lime's just going to have to sit back and keep this Vandal because the team is running out of weaponry, and this is the problem I was bringing up, where BONK managed to shut down FOKUS after 1, maybe 2 round wins every time they get those rounds. FOKUS have not stringed together anything so far.
Yeah, it does get concerning, to say the least. It does sort of feel like we are on that home stretch now, because BONK are now finding a bit of that form that we would have hoped on the full buys too, and if they're able to be so consistently, you know, okay, like that's all we need of them. All they need to be is okay. They don't need to be standout or special right now, because it sort of feels like FOKUS aren't really here. It feels like we haven't really seen this side play to the level that we know that they can play. I mean, this is a side who, as you mentioned, took down C9 not that long ago in Rebel Homegrounds, or a side who are the DAC Season 1 champions, and went in towards VCT, and were able to be actually relatively competitive in VCT too. I mean, obviously, they weren't kind of standout performers by any means, but they get the name in the hat. And already Juicy wants more as well. What a shot. Your boy Lewis down. And so is the spike.
It's a violation that the Hunter's Fury got no kills there for BONK. That is an absolute violation. 2 people were revealed in spawn, and just Juicy takes the kills from him. That's just rude at that point. BONK, he's probably crying. You know,
I would be.
I would be. Yeah, exactly. I am crying right now.
Them.
Yeah, exactly. Don't worry, BONK. I'll cry for you. That was a banger of a Euro. What was it? Be like Eurodance song back in the day? My God, cry for you.
I have no idea.
You'll never see me again.
Oh, I do know that. Hey.
Yeah.
Good effort.
There you go.
You know, normally when people try and imitate, it's, you know, pretty out of tune. I
don't think I was imitating.
Not imitating. What's the word?
It's a little bit higher.
Singing. Yeah, I know what you mean. Normally, though, I can't, you know, I wouldn't be able to
FOKUS
tell.
Wait, let FOKUS cook. Come on.
Let FOKUS cook. Wait, hang on.
Got the spike down. They've cleared space. BONK, I feel like they're getting a little bit complacent. They have left large parts of the site unchecked. They're going for retakes, but you're playing against a Blade Storm. Yes, you may be catching them off guard coming from different angles at this point, but they've got crossfires set up. It's not like letting them plant the spike is not a big deal at this point. BONK is going to come round from C-Link. The rest of the players up through mid. Lime and Yugi should have a crossfire here, but all of them are differently preoccupied. That's a good shot there from Yugi. Lime gets 2 more. BONK manages to get a trade, but there it is. FOKUS, if given just a little bit of room to work with, managed to take the round.
Okay, so there's definitely still some room to work with over towards FOKUS. It definitely by no means sort of a job done here or BONK has seen off this map for certain. There's definitely still this fight, there's sort of life between the eyes, but the thing for me that makes me uncomfortable, it's inconsistent, right? We get to see FOKUS put up a consecutive round since the kind of the start of the game, or kind of that midway through that first half, right? So you already start to feel quite worried that for FOKUS, this might be, you know, again, that question that we like to say of too little, too late. Yes, we're seeing some greatness now, but have they left this deficit to get so large that all it takes is a couple of hiccups along the road and this map's done? It's an unfortunate thing, and I think we actually saw the same sort of conversations over towards Who Cars. The same thing David, you know, he mentioned himself in the interview that they're a slow starting side. I think maybe we're seeing a little bit of the same here for FOKUS, where they're slow starting, and because of that, it actually could come back and bite them just a tad. Either way, a little bit of a time to pump the brakes, have a conversation. The IGL is going to make some calls here. No real information spotted yet for BONK.
And FOKUS do have a lot of ults to work with. I don't know if they'll want to invest them particularly heavily in this round. Obviously, they're playing up against scary, scary Stingers. We've seen what BONK can do with Stingers, but at the same time, if you rate yourselves, you should be able to take this round pretty easily at this point. But there is Kicks, finding the first one. Pup gets the trade plus an extra for his troubles. Ooh, Chihuahua, if he was holding that corner for a millisecond longer, may have just taken off the head of Perp.
30 seconds left.
Bonker is going to have to use the Aldrin to even get out of that position, but Chihuahua picks up a Vandal, manages to get the kill onto Perp. Now he can use that neural theft to get back in towards these guys. They know there's one long, and they know there's two on site. Now they might back up, but Lewis is pushed straight into Chihuahua with the use of that shock dart. Now both of these players are sat in long, and Bonk have just turned the tempo all the way up to 11. Yugi, it's a 1v3. The half defuse has already come through. Can he hit the shots that he needs to land? He finds one, but he has to dash away before finding that second onto Bonker, and the defuse comes through. Nothing he can do on that one. Juicy takes it to match point.
That's a ridiculous retake as well. I mean, that is textbook. I mean, a lot of it comes down to Chihuahua finding that rifle to work with. Him alone having a Vandal steps up the percentage of them being able to pull off a retake. And then the neural theft comes online. They get the information. But what you don't see as well is how the shock dart forces an engagement early in towards that retake. The shock dart's coming from heaven, forces whoever that back player was. I think if I'm right in saying it may have been... I can't actually remember off the top of my head who it was. It might have actually been Lewis, who was maybe forced off that angle, but he was forced into engagements early doors, and he gets traded immediately. That's what we like to see from BONK. They had a masterful plan there, and it worked, well, brilliantly. Now it's left them on map point on their map pick.
Oh, man. And as much as BONK made a mistake last time to give FOKUS a round, FOKUS really made a bit of a mistake. Continuous lapse in judgment. In the words of a YouTuber. To let them in to that one in turn. Yugi is going to try and hold off these guys as a showstopper is good. It manages to find one, and he takes straight out his Vandal. Finds one, the aftershock comes through, takes out KPZ, and in a flash, it is over. BONK take the map, 13-6. Didn't feel like too much of a sweat for them.
No, I really feel like we didn't even see BONK get into 6th gear there. I don't actually think this side really got, you know, too overzealous or too to a point where we think, okay, they're being pushed to their limits. FOKUS were never really... Oh, how do you put it? I mean, consistently competitive is probably one of the best ways I can word it. It was not really the FOKUS that we want to see. It wasn't a FOKUS, a side who were able to step up and challenge the likes of your Cloud9s. And you can make all these arguments about hiccups and whatnot, but this is the elite level players who FOKUS were able to compete with. And coming in towards this game, we never really saw them compete. I gotta say, Twiggy, for this entire series, while I know it's only early doors and only map 1, it does worry me slightly that BONK's playstyle might just be the perfect mismatch to FOKUS's.
Yeah, I think BONK, a big thing for this is that so far in this in this league, they haven't really been, you know, bringing out amazing plays so far. They've been making a lot of mistakes. They've been, you know, they haven't really brought out Juicy to full effect. You know, their stats haven't been insanely impressive so far. And yeah, they have been, you know, well, not throwing, but, you know, really kind of choking a little bit over the course of this one. This looked much better from them. This looked like what I expect to see when I see BONK's line up and then I see him on the server. And it's not what I expect to see from FOKUS. FOKUS may have opened the door for BONK, but BONK definitely had the skill to take this one outright.
Yeah, and I think when you look at it as well, right, this was just a pure case of, you know, maybe some of the stars not really showing up early doors. I want to, again, I hate to bring it up, but Yugi's probably one of those ones. Well, he still had some actually barely decent numbers. It's just the fact that Yugi is a player who individually can defeat sides. He's someone who can really make the difference because of his consistency. But unfortunately, it wasn't that case. But you look on the other side, Kicks had a fantastic start for quite a while. Jusu as well, from the get-go, was brilliant. I mean, I look back to kind of how he opened things up in that second round with just a stinger alone. He was brilliant. And look at the numbers for him. 22 kills, 2 KDA, and a 337 ACS. That is someone who made a difference. I think for BONK, for me, when it comes down to it, I've always got to give credit to one guy. That's BONK, because I think he outcalled FOKUS and maybe specifically Itchy Boy Lewis on a really, really high note. He had a very good read, both defender and attacking side of how to take down the side. And my God, did it work.
Look, here's the thing. Back in the day, you remember when the first BONK roster got picked up by Guild Esports? I remember a lot of controversy surrounding specifically Bonkar and Draken, I think, as well. A lot of people wanted to drop. Bonkar wasn't putting up great numbers, but he's the IGL, and a lot of the time, you know, maybe in Valorant it's not exactly the same thing. Utility is much more usable, and sometimes the IGL can take more of a support role, and it's a lot easier to get value without fragging out, unlike some other FPS games where you really do need to be self-sufficient in terms of fragging. Bonkar at the time may not have been a self-sufficient fragger, but he's always been an incredible IGL, I think. He's always been able to make amazing calls, and now that he is also, you know, got way more, you know, he takes on a much more you know, headstrong leadership role in terms of he's really putting up numbers as well. He's unstoppable, it feels like, and the team is just working so much better. Plus, he has fraggers in Kicks and Jusu to do all the work for him if he doesn't feel like it on that specific moment. That whole team almost had a 2KD, that whole map.
I mean, it's some pretty, you know, substantial numbers when you're looking across the board, and I think that was just consistency. For me, for BONK, that was, you know, from the get-go brilliant. And while for FOKUS, we started to see, you know, flash in the pan moments where we're thinking, hey, okay, this is FOKUS. This is what this side like to do. It was only flash in the pan moments. It was inconsistent rounds on the board, and they never really got a stranglehold of momentum. And that was the big thing. BONK just rolled with the punches, and the snowball effect took them to a lead. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to first one to a break. When we are back, we can start preparing ourselves for Breeze's map number 2. We'll see you all in just a moment.